Welcome everybody to Evolve Stretch 1. I'm Jana. In this set, we're going to give you 3 different techniques, 2 stretches per technique, and we're going to do them twice so you get an opportunity to find more range of motion each time. I want you to think of it today like a spa day for your muscles. You're going to rejuvenate, restore, and everything we do today is going to help you with all your other Evolve programming, and you're just going to feel better. So I'm going to introduce your fantastic mods. This is Bartek, and he is going to be your mod 1. How you doing today, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Good, I hope you're feeling nice and tight today. Just kidding. So if you know you have a little bit less range of motion, this is where you're gonna be looking. Bartek's gonna give you lots of different options on how to work safely within your own limitations. And then back here, we got my big guy, Kamar. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, ready to stretch?
All right. If you're an athlete at home, this is your guy. We got a basketball player here, a little bit tighter in the body. He's our mod 2, and you're gonna look for him if you need to find something in between mod 1 and mod 3. Yeah, all right, you good? And then we have the lovely Shar. How you doing today? Good. And this is your mod 3. So if you know you have a little bit more range of motion and flexibility, you're gonna be looking towards Shar, and she's gonna look beautiful and give you lots of options for those nice long lines. Again, if anything that we do today does not make sense and you just need a little bit more education, feel free to come see me in the tutorials and we'll give you the step-by-step on how to get into these stretches. Remember, you can always evolve up or mod down depending on your level. Okay. So we're gonna get into our first style of stretching, which is called contract and relax. What we try to do here is we try to shock the muscles a little bit. So we inhale and we hold the breath. And then as we exhale, we try to move into what we call a different barrier of stretch. So it becomes a little bit different than typical static stretching in that we're actually moving with our breath and there's action in the body. All right, so we're gonna start with a nice stretch here for those pectoral muscles. And we're gonna begin with our feet hip distance apart. You're gonna reach your right arm up, just past your right shoulder, and reach your left arm down, doors I flex the hands, and then you're gonna take a peek to the left. Now the idea here is to inhale, you're gonna hold the breath, and then as you exhale, you're gonna move into that next barrier of stretch. So let's do this first one together. Take a big inhale, you're gonna hold the breath for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now as you exhale, you're gonna imagine squeezing a grate between your shoulder blades behind you. That's it, let's find the breath. Take a big inhale, everybody, breathe in. Good, pause, hold your breath. It feels like you're holding longer than you actually are. And then as you exhale, you're gonna think about squeezing those shoulder blades together and reaching those middle fingers together behind you. Great. And we're getting into all of these nice muscle groups, right into the fronts of the shoulders and into the fronts of the chest. So all of that work you've been doing in your Evolve programming, we're now gonna stretch those muscles, all those push-ups, all that action you've been doing. Now we get to finally stretch those muscles. Now this is mod 1, so this is Bartek. So if you know you're a little bit tighter in the pecs and the shoulders, you're gonna leave one arm down, and we're gonna have less range of motion in the wrist. And maybe after a few weeks of practicing your stretch, you're gonna have that full range of motion in the front line, and you're gonna have full dorsiflexion of the hands. And then slowly changing sides. So just bringing both hands back down to neutral. We clench the breath in between. Take an inhale, you guys. And now just let it go, big exhale. And what we do to one side, we must do to the other. So reach that opposite arm up, right hand down just below your hip, dorsiflex the hands, and then take a peek over your right shoulder. And now let's find the breath. Take a big inhale, let me hear you breathe. Hold, hold a little bit longer. And then as you exhale, imagine pushing that top hand into a wall behind you. And then we go again. Inhale, hold the breath, it's quiet. And then big exhale, reach those shoulder blades together. And as you can see with Kamar here, he's really keeping the face really relaxed. He's almost smiling, eyes are soft. And even these little mechanics in the face can move us into more range of motion. So just kind of check in with your body right now and see if you're actually grimacing your eyes in your face. Relax the jaw, relax the eyes. Good, let's go for one more big inhale. Good, big exhale, Shar, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Beautiful, this is your mod 3. And then coming out with a lot of awareness. So bring your eyes forward, take a big inhale, let that go, you guys, big exhale. I feel stretched just listening to you guys. All right, so let's stretch those hip flexors into the psoas. So gonna reach that right leg back, And you're gonna reach that opposite hand up towards the ceiling. Good. And then the left hand comes down by the hip. The hands are in dorsiflexion. And then we start that same breathing pattern. So take that big inhale, fill yourself up, hold the breath. And then as you exhale, you're thinking opposition here. So as that right hand is lifting up and over, you're pushing the right hip forward and squeezing the glute here. So we talk about the hip flexor as being like the parking brake of the human body. The most popular job is sitting at a desk, right? So if you're sitting there all day long, that hip starts to get all banged up. So we try to find this flexibility here, opening through that front body and finding just a little range of motion into those tight hips and into the quad. Again, this is our mod 1. So if you're a little bit less flexible, you're gonna have the hands on the hips, you're gonna have a shorter distance between the feet. Good, and you're gonna work here until we get that mobility into the hip flexor. How you doing here, buddy?
I can still feel it, like, even all here, even though I'm not as flexible as Charlotte.
This is not a competition, right? And that's the important thing. You need to work within your own body's limitations, right? Doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. It's what feels good in your body that's important. Let's go to the other side. So slowly step your feet together, and then we'll do the other side. So step that opposite leg back, come into your lunge position, reach that arm up towards the ceiling, and then start the breath. Take a big inhale. Let me hear you breathe. There's a pause. Pause. And then as you exhale, think of squeezing that left butt cheek forward as you push the hip forward. This is great. And again, if you're nice and tall in your body, you're gonna have this long space between your legs, right? You're working within what you're born with, right? If you're tall, you have a longer stance, right? Good. And remember, when you're doing all your evolve squats and all those evolve lunges, and you feel that kind of burning sensation in your hip flexor, that's like the engine light going off in your car, right? You need to deal with it. So this is how we're dealing with it. You're coming to stretch, we're working it out, and not only is this gonna give you more freedom of movement and make you feel better, all that stuff that you're doing in your agility and strength, you're gonna see better results. Take one more breath, you guys. Big inhale. Big exhale, squeeze that butt cheek, push the hip forward. You guys are awesome. Awareness as you come out. Use your core, step the feet back up to center. Good. Take a big inhale, everybody. Open the jaw. Relax, exhale. We are gonna go into our second set of pectoral and the pec major and minor muscle. All right, so let's start with those feet hip distance apart. Reach that opposite arm up, so right arm comes up again, left arm down. Good, and we're dorsiflexing the hand, which means you're just drawing the fingertips towards your shoulder. So instead of the hand being like this is dorsiflexion, and this is what we're working for. Let's go, take a big inhale. Good, pause, pause. And then big exhale, good, push that opposite hand down. Wow, so as you can see, doing the second set, you already get a result, right? Do you feel like you have more range here already, big guy? Sorry, it's hard to talk, I know, while you're doing this stuff, but if you can feel this in your own body, right, just by doing one stretch and then doing it again, we've already created that new barrier, that muscle memory. So your body, just by being here for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, has already found more range of motion. So while you're here, give yourself a pat on the back. How you doing here, Bartek?
I'm really good.
Good. And again, this is our mod 1, Bartek, right? We're working within our limitations. We got tight shoulders, tight pecs. We're still getting a great result here. Do you feel looser this time?
Yeah, I can push my hand back even further.
Awesome. Take a breath, let it go. All right, you guys, and then coming out of this with a lot of awareness, bring the hand down, turn the head face forward, and let's clench the breath. Take a big inhale. I'll do it with you. Big exhale, let go. All right, and let's do that other side. So reach that left arm up, right arm comes down, plant your feet, dorsiflex the hand, take a peek over your right shoulder. And now let's find the breath. Big inhale, breathe in, holding the breath, and then exhale. So if all of this is just too much and the pace is just a little bit too much, make sure you go to your tutorials. You can really set up your body and practice proper form. By practicing proper form, you're even gonna get better results. Great. That's it. Let me hear you breathe, girl. Big inhale. The breath is just gonna move you even more. Breathe it out. Big exhale. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. How do you feel during the second side?
A lot looser.
Yeah, and even Shar, who has lots of flexibility, even if you think you have range of motion, you probably even have more with this technique that maybe your body has never seen before. Great, take one more. Beautiful. And then again, coming out with a lot of awareness. So slowly bring the hands down, eyes face forward. Let's cleanse the breath. Take a big inhale, big exhale, let it go. All right, we're gonna go into that psoas hip flexor stretch for the other side. So let's step that right foot back, reach that right arm up towards the ceiling, doors I flex the hand, and that other hand is just trailing beside your left hip, doors I flexion of that hand. And let's start with the breath. So take a big inhale, breathe in, holding the breath, and then exhale. Great. So the idea here, when we hold the breath like that, we're kind of tricking the nervous system. We're almost stressing the nervous system out a little bit. So then when we move into that exhale, the body relaxes. And when the body is relaxed, we find more range of motion. Good. So again, if you have a job that requires you to sit all day long, or you drive your kids around from sport to sport, you need to be doing this one almost every single day. Release those hip flexors. Let's take 2 more big breaths, you guys. I'll count them with you. Big inhale. I want you to hold the breath, but relax the face and the eyes. Hold. And then use the breath. Exhale. You're squeezing that right butt cheek as you push that hip forward. Think opposition. That's it. Awesome. Breathe. Exhale. Beautiful. And then coming out with a lot of awareness, bring those arms down by the sides, turn your face to face forward, step the feet together. Big inhale, guys, cleanse the breath. Big exhale, and we'll do the other side. So stepping that opposite foot back, reach that arm up, and we'll start our breathing. Big inhale, and let it go, big exhale. Great. So remember, what we do to one side of the body, we must do to the other side of the body. And the whole Evolve program is about balancing the body in terms of strength and flexibility. So all of that work that you've been doing in your body and your strength and agility and core and balance, we're now getting the opportunity to find that great balance by finding the flexibility in all of those muscles you've been working. This is the healthiest thing you could do for your body at this point. This is your mod 1, right? This is Bartek. We got a little bit less flexibility here. You're squeezing that butt cheek forward. Great. How do you feel on the second side?
I can definitely feel it all down my quad, especially on the inside.
Awesome. And you might find the second time that you do the stretch might move, right? Because once you open one muscle, you might access a second muscle that we don't even know about until we move into the second side. Great. And then coming out, take a breath, you guys. Safety, navel pulls in. Safety first. Step those feet together and let's breathe. Take a big inhale, let it go. Exhale. So we're gonna move into our second technique, which is called myofascial stretching. Now think of myofascia like the honey in your cupboard, right? If you just keep that honey in the cupboard, it gets all hard and you can't really put it in your tea. You can't do anything with it, right? What we're gonna do is warm up the honey. We're gonna get all that myofascia warm, and this is gonna give you profound results in terms of range of motion. All right, so let's go, you guys. We'll start with this first myofascia. We're gonna come to lie on our back, and we're gonna work the whole right side of our body. So reaching that right arm behind you, arms are out like a T, good, legs are forward. And again, the breath here is a little bit different. We're gonna breathe in for 2, exhale for 2, and then there's gonna be a pause at the most extent part of your stretch, all right? So let's go, you guys. Big inhale, tap that right hand towards that right knee. And then as you exhale, you're reaching that right hand back as you reach the opposite toe forward. Again, inhale, come in. Big exhale. So this is our anterior oblique line side stretch. So we're using our opposition here, that middle finger, all the way to that right big toe. So we're getting this beautiful stretch from the middle finger all the way. Push that toe down into the floor. So this is your mod 3. This is sharp. So if you know you have range of motion, this is where you're going. Now over here with our mod 1, if you're fairly new to stretching, right? Or maybe this is your first time even doing a stretch exercise like this. This is what your posture, your movement is gonna look like. You're gonna keep a bend in that knee. Good. Your hand may or may not touch the floor. Don't force it down, right? We wanna work within the limitations of our body. This is important. Go inside, make sure it feels great. All right, you guys, and then we'll transition to the other side. So finish that last breath. Let's lift the left leg up and left hand to left knee. Big inhale for 1, 2, and now big exhale for 1, 2. Pause at the stretch. Good. Big inhale. 1, 2. big exhale. So as you can see here with our mod 2 Kamar, we're stretching from that middle finger all the way down to that left big toe. So that whole line of the body is getting a nice stretch. I'm gonna ask you in between, how you doing here, Kamar?
Feeling good. I feel
Good.
stretch all the way from, like you said, down the obliques.
Which again, these movements are gonna help you with all of your evolved stuff. All those Saxon side bends you've been doing, all the rotators you've been doing, this is gonna give you more range of motion while you perform those exercises. All right, you guys finish that last one and we'll change. Take a big inhale, let it go, big exhale. Great. And then slowly coming up to a seated position. So we're gonna move into our second exercise for the myofascia. You're gonna start with your knees bent. We're gonna bring the arms behind us, and you're just gonna let your knees kind of fall from left to right. And we're gonna do a stretch, it's called a 3D back stretch. And this one is awesome for all of those muscles in our entire back. And then we'll let our knees fall to the left. Now I want you to peek over your right shoulder and see your right hand. Now your eyes are gonna stay on that right hand. So where your eyes go, your spine goes. So keep looking, reach that right arm all the way up and over. Keep looking at that right hand, keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. And then place it right on top of the left hand and then give me a little peek. Look over your left shoulder. And then we go again. So big inhale, look at that right hand, keep tracing the ceiling with that right middle finger. As soon as it touches the floor, you switch. You look back at your left hand, good, and you bring the legs up and over, peeking over that right shoulder. And then again, we move with the breath here. So big inhale, follow the movement. Where your eyes go, your spine goes. So we want to keep the spine nice and long here. And as we keep the spine nice and long, we properly stretch all of the muscles that surround it. So the upper, the middle, and the lower back. Right, you guys? And then go back to your breath. Big inhale, good, big exhale. So this is our mod 1 here with Bartek. He is not putting his hand on top of the other hand. He's just placing it beside, which is exactly what you do if you know you have a little bit of a tighter back. Good, but he's still keeping his eye on the prize. All right, all the way up. Good, and all the way over. Awesome. Big inhale. Keep those eyes up. Where your eyes go, your body goes. And finish it off. Let me hear you exhale. And pause, beautiful. And then just coming back to neutral position. Good. Take a big inhale. Let's do that all again, going into our second set of myofascia. Reach those arms out like a T. And now I want you to go inside your body this time and see if you can move a little bit deeper in your range of motion, or just observe if you feel like you have a little bit more freedom of movement. So let's go. Bring that right hand towards the right knee. This is your inhale for 1, 2, big exhale. This is Shar, she's our mod 3, and she's getting that full line. So we're inhaling, and she's exhaling. So this is what we're working towards, to be able to one day push that right middle finger and that right big toe right onto the floor. Now, if this isn't where you're at today, maybe you're here, and the foot and the hand are just barely touching the floor. Or maybe the second time you do this, you've gone from a mod 2 to your mod 3. Good, big inhale. How you doing on the second side here, Kamar?
Feels a lot better now.
Good, it feels a lot better. Good. The main thing about this is just accepting where you are today. And this is the beautiful thing about our bodies, is they change from day to day. They evolve from day to day. So it's always working with how your body feels right now. This is an important message for yourself. So think about that as you're stretching your body. How do you feel right now? Great. And this is our mod 1, moving beautifully. Even a little more range of motion this time, hey? Trying. Don't try too hard though. You want to let the breath move your body. So big inhale. Let the breath move you, big exhale. All right, you guys, so we'll change sides, come back into that T position. Take a breath in between, cleanse the breath, big inhale. Let it go, big exhale. All right, so tapping that left knee to that left hand, big inhale, and then move all the way across, big exhale. Inhale for 1, 2, exhale. Finish the breath, finish the movement. Inhale, 2, exhale. Pause, continue moving. So again, just go into your breath. Maybe close your eyes. Take a moment and just realize that if you function better, even just here doing something really simple, all your body's basic movements will perform better. So you're doing something really great for your body. Stay here for one more breath. Big inhale and exhale. Great. And then slowly coming out of this, so just come back to your neutral position. And we'll make our way into our second set for that 3D back stretch. Toes out in front. Go ahead, give your toes a big look and see if you need a pedicure or not. Kamar, do you need a pedicure back there, buddy? Oh, you wore shoes.
Oh, exactly.
That's fine. And if you hate your feet, you just keep wearing your shoes. It doesn't matter as long as you're stretching with me. Just keep stretching. All right. And now let those knees fall to the left. Good. Peek over your right shoulder. Find that right hand. Keep the eyes on the hand. Big inhale. That's it. And then big exhale. Big inhale. Follow that right hand up. Now this is where Bartek usually likes to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Go ahead, hit it, Bartek.
Why did you put me on the spot? I haven't warmed up my vocal cords.
That's in the next set of stretching. Good, big inhale. Keep breathing, everybody. Big exhale. Great. So if you're a mod 3 in your strength and your agility and your core and balance, more than likely you're gonna be a mod 1 with stretching. So this is sometimes where we gotta get a little bit humble and let go of our egos and just realize that maybe all that strength is tightening our body. We're gonna start here and progress. All right, you guys, coming out of this. Big inhale, release, cleanse the breath. All right. So we're going into our third technique for the stretch component of the Evolve Stretch 1, which is mobility. So sometimes we think our quads are tight or our calves are tight, and sometimes it just has to do with the joints that are either above them or below them. So we're gonna find some mobility in those joints, and by loosening those joints and keeping them nice and juicy, we'll start to find more range of motion in all those nice tight muscles. We're gonna move into our first mobility stretch, which is called the cat camel. So you're gonna get down on those hands and those knees. You're gonna clean the floor, and somebody's gonna be really happy. Just kidding. All right, so bring those hands underneath the shoulder. Your knees are gonna be under the hips, and all we're doing here is just extending and flexing the spine. So you're gonna lift your chest up, lift your tailbone up, and then exhale, you're gonna round the spine. And you're gonna move pretty quickly here. So we're trying to find a little bit of speed here. Inhaling, exhaling. That's it, just keep breathing and moving your body. Again, if you're more of a mod 3 here like Shar, you're gonna have this longer distance between your hands and your knees, and you're really gonna see some exaggeration here from the flexion into the extension. Good. Now, if you're a mod 1, here like my friend Bartek, you're really gonna think about articulation and slower movement here. So you're gonna lift the sit bones, then the head, and then do the same on the way back. So lift the sit bones, lift the head, tailbone under, head drops. So again, just working within our own limitations. That's it. Now find the breath, you guys. Big inhale, big exhale. Really loosening all of those muscles around the lower back, right? I'm sure you've had a tight back at some point in your life. Even right now, you might have a tight back. So this is something fantastic you can do and get an immediate result. How you feel here, Kamar?
Feeling great.
All right, and then we'll go into our second mobility exercise. Just be careful, make sure you're not lightheaded from all that breathing, take a breath, and then safely come up into a standing position. So if you have low blood pressure or anything like that, just chill out for a second. All that breathing from ground to floor, you might get a little lightheaded. So check your balance, stand with feet hip distance apart. Let's breathe first. Take an inhale, you guys, let me hear you breathe. Big exhale. So you're gonna step your left foot back. Your right foot is forward. There's a bend into the left knee, and those right toes are pointing straight up to the ceiling. You're gonna reach your arms out in front of you, and you're just gonna tilt forward from the hips. And as you inhale, you're gonna bounce up. Let's go, you guys. So take a big inhale, and you're moving with your breath. Big exhale. Great. So again, the idea here is to think dynamic movement, so you're moving with your breath. And we're getting into that hamstring again, into the back of the leg. So think of this as the parking brake on the other side of the body. So the hamstring connects right at the bottom of our sit bone, which is the bottom of our pelvis. And so by keeping the spine nice and long here, as opposed to stretching with a rounded spine, we're safely stretching those hamstrings. It might not feel like a big, intense stretch, but because of the nature of this mobility with the breath, you're gonna find you'll get better results and you're gonna have a safer result because we're keeping the spine nice and long. So check in right now, maybe go to the tutorials, just make sure you're practicing this one safely. You wanna make sure the spine is long and you're just working within your range of motion. Let's do 2 more, this is great. Big inhale and exhale. And every time you exhale, you might get a little more range of motion. Awesome breathing, Kumar. Nothing makes me happier than lots of breathing. All right, left leg forward, right leg back, a little bend into that knee. Arms out, reach those arms forward. Let's move the body. Let's go, you guys. Big inhale and exhale. Great. And again, if you have long hamstrings, which maybe you're just born with, or maybe you're a dancer, like my friend Shar here, you're gonna have a little more agility here, a little more range of motion. But even here, even if you know your hamstrings are long, sometimes we might round into that spine. So again, every time you hinge forward, think of a string pulling your chest forward as you get that nice length into the spine. Beautiful. And again, we're keeping that dorsiflexion of the hands, right? Keeping the shoulders packed into the spine. Good. Take 2 more breaths. I lied. Take 10 more breaths. Good. And then this is our mod 1 here with Bartek. So again, if the hamstrings are a little bit tighter, which they might be, all that jumping you've been doing, all those burpees you've been doing, right? The hamstrings, the calves, those back lines are gonna get a little tight. So you're gonna take your time here. Maybe in a few weeks, you're gonna move up to mod 2. Take 1 more breath. Great. All right, you guys, let's come out of that one safely. Take a breath. And we'll go into that second set of cat camel. So go ahead, scoot down onto your hands and the knees. Start with your fingers pointing forward, knees under the hips. And let's go with the breath. So inhale into extension, exhale into flexion. And Shar here could probably move a little faster and have a little more range. She's your mod 3, right? She's got all of this movement into her spine. And if you think about what's happening here, we're decompressing the lower back on every movement, right? So getting rid of all of that tension, that compression that sits in our lower back just from sitting all day long. We're compressing the spine. So now we're opening it, giving that spine some freedom of movement. Great. And this is our mod 2 here with Kumar. So again, he's got these big shoulders, these big body, but we're still getting this mobility into the lower back. Good. And as you can see with all of these guys, they're sweating, right? Even though we're just stretching, we're still getting rid of toxins out of the body, which is the most beautiful part about stretching is every exhale is an opportunity to release carbon dioxide, monoxide, all of that stuff that stresses all of our muscles and our nerve endings out. So think of this as like a rejuvenation for your muscular and your nervous system. All right, you guys, 1 more. And then just chill out for a second, take an inhale. How you doing, Kumar?
A little sweaty.
All right, and we'll go into that second set of the single leg waiter's bow. So again, standing in a neutral position. Make sure you're not dizzy, make sure you're standing straight. Left foot back, right toes forward. Reach those arms forward. And now let's move. Exhale while you stretch. So every time you exhale, that's when you're moving into the stretch. Big inhales and big exhales. Good. Inhaling and exhale. So again, what we do to one side, we always must do to the other side. And Evolve is an awesome program for this. And the agility component, the strength, the core, and the balance, the full program exposes all of your weaknesses, but then gives you the opportunity to fix them. So all you're doing here with this stretch component is stretching all of those muscles that you've been strengthening throughout the rest of the Evolve program. And as you do this, you're gonna go back to that strength program, back to agility, and you're gonna see yourself at mod 2 or 3 the next time, I guarantee it. Good. Take 2 more breaths, you guys. Great. All right, and then slowly coming out of this, step the feet together. How do you guys feel? Good?
Feeling pretty loose
Good.
now.
I'm waiting for you to serve me something. I was waiting for something to arrive. All right, so let's go into the other side. Step the left foot forward, right leg back. Reach those arms out and let's breathe. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, lift up. Good. Exhale. How do you feel on the second side here, Miss Shar?
Good. Left side's a little bit tighter than the right.
And this is normal, right? Depending on what we do in our day-to-day life, usually we're dominant on one side of the body. So as you're stretching today, listen to your body. Make sure you know the difference between pain and progress. And one side of the body might feel tighter than the other, and that's fine. And the action here is in that left foot, right? Even if you just were to stand up straight right now and didn't even include any of this movement in, just by lifting your toes up off the floor, you would stretch the hamstring. You can do Evolve anywhere. You can do it in the office, you can do it in the grocery store, you can do it waiting for your coffee. You might look a little funny, but who cares? Fit it in. A few more exhales here. We're almost there. Take one more breath. That's great. Awesome job, you guys. Again, just stepping out of this, coming back to that neutral position. Take an inhale. Let that all go. Big exhale. So we're gonna move into set B. Same drill, 2 stretches repeated for each of the 3 techniques. Starting off with that contract and relax technique. You guys ready to keep stretching? All right, this one's for your lats. So we're gonna start with the feet hip distance apart. You're gonna reach your arms forward. We're gonna sit like there's a bar stool behind us, and you're gonna bring your torso over to the left as you reach your right hip back. So let's go, you guys. Take a big inhale. That's it. Now pause and hold the breath for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now as you exhale, you're thinking of me pulling your right hip back with a rope as I pull your right hand forward with a rope. That's it. Again, this is your mod 1. This is Bartek. We're keeping the shoulders in internal rotation for this one as we work the lats. So the right side of the body. Good. One more. Take a big inhale. This is great. Nice breathing, Kamar. And now big exhale. Move into that second barrier of stretch. Good. Again, getting into the lats. So from all that work you've been doing in your strength, all those push-ups, you're stretching all those muscles, keeping the back nice and healthy. How you doing here, buddy?
Doing pretty.
You got one more in you. Take a big inhale, pause and hold. And then relax as you move into that barrier. Big exhale. Great, you guys. And then coming back through center. Clench the breath in between. Take a big inhale. Let it go, big exhale. And then we'll do the other side. So reach those arms forward, doors, I flex the hand. Good. And then slowly start to lean your torso to the right as you push that left hip back. Great. So this contract and relax technique really allows you to move into the barriers of your muscles safely using your breath. So you're just using your own body to find more range of motion. You're inhaling, you're using the breath. You're kind of stressing out the body, and then as you exhale, you're using the breath to find that range of motion. How you doing here, Shar? Do you feel this in the left side of your body? Good. Again, think about opening even through the ribs here. We have all these little muscles that sit between our ribs. They're called intercostal muscles. So as we stretch them and open them, we give ourselves more freedom of breath. So even doing these simple stretches gives us better endurance, better recovery, and overall just increases our respiratory system. So think of the health benefit here. One more. Take inhale and exhale. Great. And then coming back to neutral, chill out for a second, big inhale, let it go, big exhale. And we'll move into our second contract and relax stretch. So coming now into that double leg waiter's bow. So the feet are just hip distance apart. You're gonna try to keep your legs straight, and you're gonna reach your arms forward again, dorsal flexion of the hands. So let's go, take an inhale, hold the breath, quiet, 2, 3, 4. And now as you exhale, move into that place of stretch. So what's awesome about this stretch is just by lifting the toes up off the floor, which means dorsiflexion of the foot, what happens when we do that, we engage the front line, so the tibialis anterior and the quadricep. And the theory here is when we engage one muscle, the opposite muscle releases. So just again, by lifting those toes up off the floor and bringing the weight into your heels, we get this opposition, we get that stretch safely into the back line. And so if you know you're really tied into your hamstrings, which 80% of us are, this is your mod 1, this is where you're gonna start, and you're just gonna ease your hamstrings into more range of motion. We love our hamstrings, right, Bartek?
Yep.
I want you to say it.
I love my hamstrings.
All right, let's take one more breath, big inhale, let it go, big exhale, you guys. Really getting into those hamstrings. Good, and then coming out of it. So if you look at how sweaty Kamara is, that means his hamstrings are super uber tight. So if you're sweating a lot, get back here more often. All right, you guys, we're gonna repeat that first contract and relax, stretch for the lats. So I really want you to feel what happens in your body the second time you do it. So get those arms forward, bend into the knees, doors, I flex the hands, let's go. So inhale, breathe in. As you exhale, move your torso to the left as you reach that right hip back. Great. Big inhale, hold the breath, pause, big exhale. So this lat, this big guy up here is like another parking brake in our body, right? So we're trying to release the tension around the lat. It's gonna give us more mobility into our shoulder, more mobility into our lower back. The lats are these big muscles in our back that just like any big muscle, they're always gonna take on all the work. So we wanna give them a little break, give them their little spot. They've deserved it as well. And we're gonna sit here and allow them to open just with the breath. Good. Find your breath, pause. And now let's move into it. Exhale, imagine I'm pulling that right hip back as you reach the right hand forward. If you need more information on this or you need a little bit more step-by-step on the technique, make sure you hop onto the tutorials and make sure you're practicing with proper form. This is Bartek, he's giving us our mod 1. Again, a little bit less range of motion, but same result. All right, you guys, let's go to the other side. Come through center, breathe. Clench the breath, let that go. And we'll do the other side. So reach those arms forward. Doors, I flex the hand, a slight bend into the knees, take an inhale. Shift your body weight to the right if you're doing mod 3. And then as you exhale, you're pushing that left hip back as you reach that left hand forward. So again, creating that stretch through the whole left side of the body. And this is awesome. Our mod 1 here, Bartek, he's practicing perfect form. And when you do things with this much precision and integrity, proper form prevents injury. So again, we're thinking about form, we're working within our limitations, meanwhile getting all of the same benefits. Mod 1, mod 3, mod 2, wherever you are today is fantastic. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. Take a breath, breathe in, big exhale, drive that hip back. How do you feel here, Bartek?
I can feel it from my fingers to my toes.
Fingers to toes, perfect. That means we're getting the whole left side of the body. Full stretch, awesome. One more big breath, you guys. Let me hear you breathe. Big inhale. Remember to hold the breath. This is where we get the result. Hold, hold, hold. Wait for it. Exhale, move into it. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you laugh there. We can laugh in stretching. All right, take an inhale. Relax, you guys. Big exhale. All right, second set for those hamstrings. Feet hip distance apart, toes up, arms forward, and hinge forward at the hips. And imagine pushing a wall in front of you. So let's go. Take a big inhale. Breathe in, hold the breath. And then exhale. Bring your body weight back into the heels as you pick those toes up off the floor. Where do you feel this one, Miss Shar?
In the hamstring.
So even Shar, who has these long hamstrings and more flexibility, is still getting an amazing stretch into the hamstrings. By stretching your hamstrings, we're gonna release tension around the lower back. So think of this stretch as a spa treatment for your lower back. If you feel like you have any tightness in your lower back, this is a fantastic stretch to relieve that lower back pain. And then we have Bartek here, our mod 1. Again, a little bit less range of motion. How does it feel on the second time around?
I can feel like I can straighten my legs a lot more.
Okay, great.
I feel it more in my hamstrings when I do that.
So just imagine if you did this 3 times a week. Just imagine. Are you imagining? Yeah, you'll come back, right?
I'm trying to imagine it.
Okay. All right, let's come out of this, you guys. Take an inhale. Cleanse the breath in between. Let that go. It's in the past. It doesn't matter anymore. Take a breath. Big inhale. Let it go. Exhale. All right, we're going to move into myofascia. So we're going to lie on our belly. And we're going to do the prone scorpion. So again, thinking of myofascia as like this global tissue of muscles that surrounds all of your other muscles. So it's a thin layer that kind of protects all your other muscles. So we're gonna stretch that thin layer of muscle, and that's gonna give us more range of motion into all of our other muscle groups. All right, guys? Just sounds fun, right? All right, so let's start. We're gonna start by picking that right leg up, bend the right knee, and lift that leg up and over to the left as you push that right middle finger into the floor. Again, the breath is inhale for 1, 2, exhale, release the leg to the floor. Move with your breath. Big inhale, and then exhale, You're finding your opposition. You're pushing that right big toe into the floor as you push that right middle finger. Great. So we start to talk about with myofascia, the chains of the body. And that's how you can kind of think of myofascia as like chains opening through your entire body. And as we start to open and stretch the fascia, we then start to get more range of motion into the muscles. So in this case, if you feel like you have a tight hip flexor, which most of us do, if we stretch the line above it, which is the oblique and the QL, and if we stretch the line below it, which is the quad, we will get more range of motion in the hip. Think of this as more global treatment for your body. Great. And let's switch sides. You guys come back to your neutral position and we'll do the other side. So pick that left leg up, bend that left knee. So this is our mod 1. So again, we're gonna keep more of a bend into that knee, and that foot probably won't touch the floor, especially on this first time around. Use your breath, big exhale. And that hand is gonna stay on the floor, but the leg most likely will not come to the floor today. And this is something that you can benchmark for your own body. Keep coming back to your stretch program and see if week by week you progress. That's it, Bartek. Good. Bring it back. How you doing here, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. It looks like we're gonna do this in the pool next time. And we're swimming. Good. All right. And let's change, you guys. Let's cleanse the breath. Take a big inhale. Big exhale, let it go. All right, my favorite myofascia stretch. We're gonna come lie on your back. I need you to put your 2-year-old hat on. And I need you to think that you're a superstar. That's it, this is all we're gonna do. So you're gonna make the biggest version of yourself. You're gonna spread your fingers, reach your toes forward, and on the exhale, you're gonna drag your fingers and your toes on the floor and curl up into a little ball, rolling to your right side. And then inhale, coming all the way back. Let's go to the left. Exhale, drag everything over to the left, make a little ball of yourself, and then really open up. Big inhale, you guys. Pause, big exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. And as you can see, my friends back here are sweating, right? They're working. And you think that stretching is just something that's really passive. You're not really getting a result. But as you can see, as you're moving through this takes a lot of work. We're still invigorating our core. We're still using all of our muscles to move the body. That's it, guys. Looking good. One more breath, you guys. Big inhale. Make that big version of yourself. And then big exhale, that small version of yourself, and pause. And then we'll repeat that second set of myofascia stretches, starting with the prone scorpion. So you're gonna come back to lie on your belly. And again, this time as we move through the second set, just pay attention to your body. See if this time it's a little bit more accessible. Lift that right leg up, point those right toes, and then as you exhale, bring that leg up and over, find your breath, find your movement. Let's breathe, you guys. Big inhale, come back to center, and then big exhale, release. Breathe, inhale, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2. There's a pause here. Great, big inhale, release, good. Keep moving with your breath. Whatever you're doing right now is fantastic. As long as you just keep moving your body and you're breathing, you're getting fantastic benefits in all systems of your body. Great. How you doing here, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. As athletes, we don't stretch too much.
Exactly.
So this is really good for us.
And this is a big problem because if we stretch more, we're gonna get better performance, right? Because we're gonna allow those hips to open, which is gonna give our quads and that front line more freedom of movement. All right, and then we'll go to the other side. So just come back to neutral. Good. Take a breath in between, catch your breath. Exhale, relax. And then let's do the other side. So this is our mod 1 with Bartek. Again, we're keeping more of a bend into the knee. Ooh, you got more range of motion on this side, yeah?
Yeah, I can turn my hips over further.
You can turn your hips more?
Yeah.
Which is awesome, right? We're opening that parking brake. Good, opening through that whole front body. Good. And so maybe this is the time where next time you join your Stretch 1 program, and maybe you evolve up. Maybe you try Mod 2. Again, if Mod 2 feels like too much, you're gonna bounce back to Mod 1. Maybe you're starting at Mod 3 and you're using your breath to even find more range of motion. Again, it's all about checking in with your body. Give yourself a little test, see how you're feeling today, and just react appropriately. Move and work within your range of motion, your body limitation. Great, let's do one more breath, you guys. Let me hear you breathe. Big inhale. It's like music to my ears. Big exhale. All right, and then we'll go into that second set of start to fetal. So big version of yourself coming to lie on your back. Superstar, supersize yourself, arms out, toes out. Take an inhale, we'll go to the right. Big exhale, drag those toes, make a little version of yourself. Pause, and now big inhale, full expansion here. And then big exhale to the other side. So with this one, just enjoy this movement, right? It's very primal. It's something that we do as a baby, right? We start in this fetal position. The first thing we do when we're born is we open up and expose ourselves to the world. So allow these movements to inspire your body. And maybe they start to inspire your day-to-day activities. Maybe you do things with a little bit more openness, even maybe a little bit more of an open mind. That's it, big exhale. And see, Sharsh is even smiling more right now. Yeah, it just makes you feel alive, right? Great, you guys, big inhale. Let's end here. Superstar, you guys. All right, guys, breathe, take an inhale. Let it go, exhale. All right, we're gonna move into our 2 mobility stretches now. So coming up to standing position. Again, thinking of mobility as the joints, right? We're trying to keep the joints, all that synovial fluid, all that fluid that sits around the joint, we're trying to keep it moving, right? So the body feels good. So let's start with our arms together. Good. So you're gonna reach those elbows up in front of you. You're trying to get your elbows up to the eyes, maybe they come to the nose. And now open your arms. And then as you exhale, you're squeezing your elbows. I know you know this W shape from all your other Evolve programming. Move into it and then come back to center. Fingertips touch, lift up, move with the breath. This is the inhale, and now big exhale. Open through that whole front body. Great. So as you're moving here, again, check in with your breath. Use the breath. This is our Mod 3. So she's getting her elbows all the way up past her eyes. Exhale, squeezing the shoulder blades together behind you. So this is an awesome mobility exercise for those golfers out there. This is going to change your game from like a 95 to maybe a 91, maybe a 75 to a 71. In fact, my brother started to stretch. He's quite an avid golfer, and his score went from 74 to 71. Now I know that this is less expensive than those golf clubs, so get your butt in here and start moving your shoulders with me. That's it, good. Big exhale. Great. Let's do one more, you guys. Big inhale, let me hear you breathe. Are you laughing because you bought those golf clubs, didn't you? I know you did. Good, open it up. Good. Squeeze those elbows and finish it off. Awesome, great. All right, we're gonna get back into those hamstrings because why?
Because we love our hammies.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
We love the
All right, I
hammies.
thought so. We love our hamstrings, all right. So we're gonna start in this tabletop position. Bring your hands underneath the shoulders. And you're gonna lift your knees up off the floor. Really simple exercise, and you're gonna lift your hips up towards the ceiling like you're coming into that pike position, and then bring your knees back down. All right, you guys, so let's go. Let's inhale, lots of different modifications for this one. So again, check in with your body, right? If you have those long hamstrings, you're gonna be here with Shar in Mod 3, extending all the way through the legs on each breath, right? If the hamstrings are a little bit shorter, you're gonna take a pause in between. So you're gonna come down, you're gonna rest, you're gonna allow the hamstrings to kind of observe what's happening in your body. Good. And then relax the knees back down. And then if you're Mod 1, over here with my friend Bartek, you're on your forearms and you're just lifting the knees on and off the floor, pausing in between each stretch. How you doing here, buddy?
I'm doing well.
Are you still getting a stretch in the hammies?
All the way from my hams to my calves, actually.
Awesome. Hammies are your hamstrings, just FYI. All right, you guys. Let's go back to that first mobility stretch. Take a breath in between, big inhale. Cleanse the breath, everybody, let all of that go. It doesn't matter, it's in the past. Let's move forward. So when you feel ready and you feel like you've got your balance, come into a standing position. Find your balance by placing your feet hip distance apart. Bring those elbows in. Now this time, peekaboo. See if you can get more range of motion into the shoulders again. So big inhale, lift those elbows up. See where your elbows get to, maybe your nose this time. Open up the arms and then squeeze those shoulder blades together behind you. That's it, good. How you doing here second time around?
Doing good.
Awesome. So I think last time your elbows didn't go up as high, and that's kind of what you're looking for here. See when you lift those elbows, where do they go to on your face? The chin, the eyes, maybe the forehead. Do you feel more open second time?
Definitely getting higher when they come in.
That's right. And for somebody like Kamar, he's got extended reach just by opening the mobility, opening the shoulder joint, which for Kamar, who's a basketball player, reach means a lot, yeah?
Very important.
Yeah. So just by doing this, if you play basketball or tennis or anything that involves reaching of any sort, do this. It's going to give you fantastic range of motion. That's it. One more, Shar. Big inhale. Lift those elbows all the way up. Beautiful. And release. All right, you guys, let's go back into that hamstring stretch. Because why? All right. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees onto the floor. Let's move the body. Big exhale, lift the hips up. This is mod 3. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, really allowing yourself to move with the breath. So if you look at the mechanics of what's happening in your body right now, this is a lot of the same mechanics you see in the rest of your Evolve programming. All those burpees, right? All those sprawls. So now we're preparing the body for those movements. So you continue with your stretch program. You're gonna go back into your agility and into your strength, your core balance, and you're gonna see fantastic different results every time you include your stretch into your programming. Trust me, just trust me on this one. All right, nice mobility. Do you feel different here the second time around, Shar? Oh, yeah. Awesome. Holy, she's just moving and grooving here. Give me the DJ. And one more breath, you guys. Big inhale, let it go, big exhale. Good. And let's cleanse the breath. You guys did awesome. Take a big inhale. Let me hear you breathe. Music to my ears. Exhale. So that was the Standard Stretch 1 program. Congratulations, you finished it. If you have less time, just do the Express. If you have more time, make sure you try the extended program. Just keep moving your body and stretching. I'm Jana. Thank you for joining me. This is Evolve.